Hey guys, Thomas Asula Jr. here, aka Mustached Tom, with a new format of recording, trying to get more of myself on the screen with the title of the thing I'm going to review, which in this case is Insidious Chapter 3. Now, the reason why this is late is because I had not seen Insidious Chapter 2 yet, and I wanted to make sure that I had watched the previous movie to know what I was getting into for the third movie. Now, while I think the second movie is a little bit weaker than the first, I think this movie was completely unnecessary and doesn't make sense for what it was trying to go for. Now, I had read comments that said that this was a prequel, and in the story, this makes no sense. At the end of the second movie, now, I don't even remember if this is even a flashback or not, but the old lady, whatever her name is talking to this girl in the wheelchair. She sees the ghost behind her and she freaks out. So, apparently, this movie is supposed to take after, but it's a prequel. And in this movie, she takes out a bunch of pictures in referring to the Dalton family, or I assumed she was referring to the Dalton family that she had saved and saved. She saved as a kid, the father as a kid, and then he grew up and has his own family. This story is all over the place, and quite frankly, it does sort of bog down what the movie is trying to go for, because it does heavily rely on trying to build up a story, and it is confusing of a story when you consider the end of the second movie and some of the scenes in the third movie don't really mix up. Now, I will say the acting was good. Um, I felt like it was believable. But I will say that it is typical jump scares. There are cliches here that really do, that I'm just really tired of. Particularly the strongest one in this movie is the old lady tells the girl not to contact her mother. She does so, proceeding to ignore all the warning that she was told to only do this if she had permission from someone else. She goes ahead and contacts this other demon thing that doesn't even look that intimidating or scary. And at the end of the movie, it is just ridiculous. We see this lady go into the spirit world or whatever they called it, the spectrum world or whatever it was called, and she's like shoving the ghost. And the third act of this movie was completely almost comedic, uh, in relation to the other movies, where there were also little bits of comedy as well. And I really want to say that that was really heavy in the second film. I don't remember seeing that much in the first film, but it has been a while, so uh, I think a lot of, from the other reviews I've seen, because I wanted to see what other people thought. I think a lot of people are giving this movie way too much credit. I don't think they're doing a lot of things original or, you know, creative. I think that it, it you know, it's sort of sad to see that horror movies have been almost not that great for almost the past decade, I want to say. It's been 10 years, I think it's been 10 years since the last movie I saw was actually good. And it wasn't even a movie that was made here, it was a foreign film. So I really do think that this continuing trend is really, really bad. And I can see that in this movie they did try to steer away from it at times, but it almost seems like it is unescapable that this trend of just doing cliche after cliche, and it really is getting a little bit tiresome. I want to see something not only innovative, but really just try to do something different with horror instead of the typical jump scares. I want to see something different for once, and I don't think this movie necessarily provides that 100% of the time. And speaking of that, I didn't react to the Gallows trailer, but after seeing the second and third one, I have to say that this trailer, the trailers for that, it really just concerned me because when the first initial trailer came out, I was like, whoa, this is really intense, or it looks really intense, and they weren't showing off the human characters. And as soon as they introduced the human characters, they looked like typical cliche teenage characters. There was nothing to connect to. There was no sense of believing and wanting the characters to survive. Like, say, Alien and Aliens. Like, you wanted Ripley to survive her encounter with the alien. Like, that's what I want to see in horror movies are characters you can actually connect to and actually empathize with and actually be in the moment with them with. And I think this movie does that a bit, but there are a lot of moments that also take you out of that as well. So I think this movie is a very in between movie. Um, and I'm gonna make this review really short because really uh, it's all over the place. So it's really hard to gauge how to talk about the movie as a whole because it really does sort of go all over the place in that sense. Um, the girl tries to talk to the lady. She says she won't help, and then the thing gets more serious. The dad actually does believe her daughter, which is a nice element to see in a horror movie, and that wasn't a cliche clearly. But to see the other cliches there, like I said, it's almost like the movie is battling itself to figure out what it's trying to be. Um, and I think that's what really hinders the movie from being anything great. Um, so eventually the old lady figures out that she's stronger. Like I said, it gets ridiculous at the end. She's shoving this demon and it looks absolutely ridiculous. I was just like, what is happening? So I think with that being said, I can't see myself giving this anything more than a 5 out of 10. It's halfway to being something great. Um, and I think it really shows that it's battling with itself to be a 5 out of 10. I almost think I want to give it a 4 out of 10 as well, just because, like, I was really finding myself trying to find, like, good elements, and I had to see those other reviews in order to say, yeah, I can see where this movie was really trying to push away from the typical horror movie, but like I said, it does come and go. It doesn't stick without the movie, and it does really take you out. So I think that settles it. My final score, as I said, is a 5 out of 10. Not a passable horror film, just reaching the line of possibly getting to a great horror film. Uh, so I guess the line of continuously not great horror films is going to continue for us, at least for me personally. I'm just waiting for a good, great horror film, and I did not get that here. I got a decent horror film that really broke away a lot of times. So, with that being said, this has been Thomas Sulu Jr., aka Mustached Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.